Hello, greetings from Dr. Rowe at the end of quarter one. It's 2015 as I'm leaving this message for you. So I wanted to give you 6 steps that I think would be really valuable to you to use, apply, and hopefully to get you to refocus, basically, looking ahead into the rest of the year. It's not unusual at this time of the year. It's basically 3 months in to the year. You hopefully have set goals, some in personal areas, some in relationships, health, business, career, and typically what happens is, as you well know, people set their goals and then for some reason things don't work out quite the way they expected them, or they do hit the goals and then they need to keep moving through those goals into the next stage. So I thought if I give you these 6 steps, it gives you a chance to, if you're in a good flow at the moment, I think it will help you to enhance where you're at. And if you've run aground a little bit and things aren't going quite as well as you want them to go, then hopefully it'll bring you back into focus. So the first one, step 1, is to reflect on the goals that were set in this last quarter. So when you started the year, what were your plans for the whole year? Did you group things into different areas? Did you have goals set for relationships, for health, for finances, for business, career? And if you did, what were they? So I want you to just go back and have a look at what those goals were. And if you haven't got them written down, please can you capture them on paper now? Put them in your journal, for example. This is quite important because it's not unusual for us to set our goals and then basically go through a process of in our minds imagining what it's going to be like, but not necessarily putting it into a written format. And I think that's important. Even people say in relationships, well, do I need to write goals down? Sometimes it helps because it gives you and it reminds you, it gives you a sense of measure, but it also reminds you of what you're intending to do when you set about doing it. So reflect back on what goals you set at the beginning of this year, the last quarter, and if they're not written down, please capture them on paper now, because that's going to be also an interesting lesson. If you don't feel you've moved forward much in this last 3 months in whatever area, chances are you've probably got nothing to measure against, and that's quite frustrating when you've got nothing to measure against, because now you're feeling frustration but you're not quite sure why you're feeling frustrated. Okay, so that's the first step. And be specific. So if categorize it in different groupings as well. Some of you have heard me talk about human re-engineering as a terminology. Well, human re-engineering breaks down into the foundations, the structure, and the architecture of your life. The structure of these key areas that make up your life. The financial side, the business side, the relationship side, the health side. And there's various columns, including spirituality and adventure and fun and things like that. Step 2 is looking at the goals that you did hit. So we're going to break step 2 into part A and part B. So the first thing is we're going to have a look at what goals that you set out for the last quarter and the ones that you hit. And part A is, why did you hit those goals? What did you do well? What was it about the process of applying yourself to these goals that you noticed worked very well? So why did you hit the goals and what did you do well? That's part A and part B. Now you could combine it into just one whole question, which is why you did well and what you did well. Or you could say, well, why did I do well? I did well because I think I approached this year with a positive attitude. I had the right people around me, and I've really stayed focused. And then you could say specifically, what did you do well? So, for example, did you have regular routine check-ins on yourself? Did you review your goals daily, weekly? How was your time management? I'm assuming it would have been good if you've achieved certain goals this year. What did you have on a personal level in terms of your evolution, your growth, your personal development? Did you have motivation, tapes, CDs, audios? Did you attend a certain number of seminars or listen to programs that boosted you to keep that momentum going? On a personal level with people around you, who did you have around you that enabled you to achieve this goal or these goals as well as you did? How did you manage your time? How did you manage your attitude, your mindset? What habits did you adopt during the course of these last 3 months that have really enabled you to hit these goals? And in terms of reviewing, how often did you review? How often did you reset the goals and adjust the goals, etc.? So I think that's also important. And also I would say look at what resourcefulness that you brought to the table. There's a difference between resources and resourcefulness. So resources could be things like, I had money, I had contacts. Resourcefulness is how you reacted to certain situations. So that's another thing to look at, is when changes occurred in these last 3 months, which I'm sure they did do, how did you actually react to them, and how resourceful were you, and what specifically qualities did you bring to the table? So that's part 2. Really important exercise. Part 3 is what didn't work as well. So what goals, let's rephrase that. What goals did you set that you didn't achieve? So in each of the areas, relationships, health, business, career, etc. And remember, even in relationships, you can have goals. You might want to, for example, have set a goal to have 3 to 5 weekends, romantic weekends away with your partner. It might have been that you wanted to regularly go on, date evenings, or take downtime in the weekends to just connect with your partner, or whatever the goals were. And that hasn't happened. So you've really got to be clear on what you set out to start the year wanting to do in these first 3 months and what you didn't achieve. Once you're clear on what goals were set but weren't achieved, now I want you to look at why you didn't achieve them. So what would you say you didn't do so well? Were you poor with your time management? Were you poor with not keeping your word? Did you have a lack of discipline? Did you find yourself just switching on the TV and switching off at night? Did you find yourself filling the space that should have been done more efficiently, doing things that are productive and non-productive? Instead, you replaced it with non-productive things. Did you not motivate yourself as well? Did you not have the right people around you? So why did you not achieve the goals? And you've got to be really candid, really honest, and really direct with yourself when it comes to reviewing what didn't work. And this is a tough one because a lot of people don't want to do this. But actually, my view is I'd rather learn from the mistakes I've made, and I don't call them failures, they're all learning lessons. And what can I do better next time? So that's the next part of this question. So why didn't you achieve the goals? And then what can you do differently next time? So it might be that you say, I need to start getting up half an hour earlier every day. That's how I'm going to get my yoga in or my training in. Or it might be that you say, I'm going to block out the same time every week, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it is, to have that romantic time with my partner. Or if it's with your business, I'm going to make twice as many contacts or calls or whatever you need to do in the business. But what could you do differently? What old negative limiting patterns of behavior have held you back in these 3 months that you can shatter, break, and just move forward? Really important. Really, really important. Okay. Question 4. Over the next 3 months, I want you to break this down into 3 parts, A, B, and C. What projects do you want to take on? So whatever you've been doing for the last 3 months, you might want to extend that into the next 3 months. And you may also want to look at any new projects, or just simply reviewing everything, looking ahead for the next 3 months. What are your key major projects? And you might say to me, well, can you include projects in health? Absolutely. Eating healthily or more live food could be a project. So that would then involve anything that involves more than one activity, which is really forms a to-do list, then can form a project. So a single activity doesn't really constitute a project, but several activities, 3 or 4 activities that need to be done in order to have a complete project finished. So it becomes a project. So you can have projects in relationships, could be project romance, project holidays, project family time. So what projects do you envisage that you would like to experience and achieve over these next 3 months? Part B to that then is what do you need to let go of? So what is not essential? What is a distraction to you? What things do you have in your line of sight for the next 3 months that you absolutely can park, slide back 6 months, slide back 12 months, are non-essential, that you are aware that have been distractions for you? Anything at all, any activities, any requests that have been made of you? Have people asked you to get involved with something and you've said yes to please them, but actually now you realise that's going to add more burden to your time? I want you to really look ahead for the next 3 months and imagine you're thinning down, skinning down your time commitments to anything that's not focused on these key projects, so that you know that you can move towards them without a large number of distractions. Now, that's not to say things aren't going to come up during the next 3 months that potentially could be a distraction, but it doesn't help carrying a whole bunch of distractions with you to start with. And as you move forward, then you stay focused as well. The next one is refocus, actually. So this is part C of question 4. So I want you to refocus back in and get clarity within those projects. What are the key activities that you know will get the quickest results? So refocus back onto those. So for example, if I'm looking at expanding my property portfolio in the next 3 months, I know that one of the most important activities is analysing as many deals as possible that fit my strategy and blocking out the time to look at the numbers and narrow it down. That could be one of the things, or it could be raising additional seed money to get into the projects, for example. So that's really important. Get clarity and refocus on the elements within the projects that you know are going to get the quickest results. Then action 5, step 5 in the process is identify 3 success habits in each of the 3 areas I'm about to give you. So 3 success habits. The first one is in the area of time, second one is the area of people, and the third one is the area of daily routines. So what success habits 3 can you introduce into your time management? So it could be getting up earlier, it could be switching off the TV, it could be reviewing your goals at the end of each week, or reviewing the projects at the end of each week. Whatever it is for you, what do you need to do to be more time efficient? It could be just simply reviewing your emails only twice a day instead of every other half an hour. So what habits 3 can you introduce into time management? Same thing with people. What 3 habits can you introduce into the way you work with and interact with people? Maybe it's learning to say no more often, or maybe it's learning to check in with the key people, key mentors, key people around you in your business or your life that are going to help you stay focused. So what are 3 positive habits that you can introduce around the world of people, dealing with and working with people as you move forward? And finally, what are 3 habits on a daily routine basis that you can introduce that will make you more efficient? So whether that's meditating at the end of the day on how the day's been, or whether it's the night before each day clearing up and getting your desk ready to be really focused in the morning. But what are 3 habits that you can introduce on a daily basis that you know that will make you more effective? And then step 6, the last part in the process, is simply this: accountability. And there's 2 parts to this. Who are you going to be accountable to, and how often are you going to be accountable to that person or those people? So who is it? Is it going to be a mentor, a coach, a family friend, a boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, business partner, whoever it is? Names of key people that you're going to be accountable to in those areas that you have projects. And then how often are you going to check in with them? And I would recommend every month is not enough. So maybe once every 10 days to 2 weeks to check in, let them know how you're getting on, bounce off them a little bit, stay objective. Okay, so there's 6 steps I've gone through real quickly there. Hope it's helpful to you. I reckon you're probably spending about an hour to an hour and a half to really do this properly. And then off the back of that, get some regularity in your actions. Have fun, and I'll speak to you real soon.